All right. Project updates. Vivala Road Solar Project, Jeff.
So for what it's worth, I did reach out to Peter today, mentioning to him that the board was meeting tonight to discuss it. Obviously he's not here. Uh, so he had provided us last time, and I had forwarded to you all the bonds that he was seeking to have removed. Um, and then I had provided them to the law department, obviously Jane. I did reach out to John Zwerko, whose only response to me, because John Zwerko originally received them and said, I think this is Jeff Burkott. So then, he and I went back and forth then, and then he referred me to Peter. I then spoke to Peter, got Peter here, and said, well, John sent me to you. So at this point, John is saying, okay, it looks okay, but is basically back to where he started from initially. So I mean, I think the most important of the five, because I think it was five documents, was really the decommissioning bond and not necessarily releasing that. But presumably we've whether you went to the site or perhaps know the site, I can Google Earth it if you care, so you can see the street view of it. I mean, they have planted it. So the planting bonds may not be of relevance anymore. I mean, a tidiness might be appreciated, but some of the sumac might actually help screen it. So I don't really know where the board wants to go, or if Jane has any recommendation to where the board should go. But I would assume that the board's not looking to let the decommissioning bonds go, but any other bonds as far as the landscaping to be planted, or the funds. I think there was a bond for the plants, and then later there was a bond for to get them planted, because there was no guarantee. So I think, I don't know if Jane can help me out here, or if not, I would say just to not let, if the board was to release the bonds, I would just argue, or not argue, but rather state that the decommissioning bond should remain in place, because otherwise you've got nothing to hold them to removing it thereafter, if it should ever, become a failed technology or whatever.
Right. I totally agree. The decommissioning bond should be there. That should be in place. With respect to the trees, plantings, that's discretionary as to, I mean, they're all discretionary, but I feel as though, as Jeff said, that decommissioning bond should be there. What were the other two?
See,
The,
I thought it was something relative to that. Let me just bring them up one
yeah,
more.
I'm trying to find it too.
I'm gonna say I
Bonds.
drove by it today just out of curiosity, and like I see what Jeff means about it looks a little scraggly, like there's a bunch of volunteer trees coming up there. Honestly, given how the rest of the road looks, that's not, the road has a lot of kind of wild ingrowth. So that arguably it makes it blend in with the rest of the road. But there are a few spots where clearly they must have put in an evergreen tree and it died. I do think it wouldn't be a bad idea to ask them to go put in a couple more evergreens in the spots where the original ones died. I don't know, when I don't remember what the date is for them to need to either to re-up their bonds. I'd love it if there was a way for us to say like, yes, we will return that bond to you, but first you got to put in three more trees or whatever, put in infill evergreens where the original ones died. I don't know if we have time essentially to do that without making them go through the whole process of getting new bonds, which it seems excessive to ask them to get a new bond for the plantings when they did do what they were asked to do, but I would like to see a couple extra trees if I could.
So I thought I had sent this. So I
I
got an
think it's
email.
stormwater runoff. Yeah.
So, he had sent me an email saying, Jeff, is there any update on this matter? There was going to be an investigation to ensure that these bonds were to cover has been completed, that the work that these bonds were to cover has been completed. As discussed at the meeting, I am under a time crunch. If this investigation has been completed, can I have the old bonds released. You have been provided with copy of the replacement bonds, so there is no reason to have both. Enclosed is a Word version of the letter I sent previously asking for the release, which has a draft release attached. So I'll forward this to you all again. I thought I had, but I'm sorry if I didn't, because I just don't see where I've done that. Let me
I
forward
think,
it right now.
I
Forward.
think you did, and I think that we had already decided that there was no reason not to allow them to release the original bonds because the new ones are one-to-one replacements for them. I think that's what happened.
So I just forwarded that to everybody. I'm not sure how much, it's what he provided and what I just forwarded was a draft document that I think he was looking for. Let's see. What was it? It seems like there's a lot there. Did the attachment attach? I thought it did. Such a long chain. If the attachment didn't attach, I can, no, I thought I did though. Yeah. Did you all get an attachment? My email is showing there's an attachment, but when I go to look for it, I don't see it. Do you, do you see an attachment to there? If not, I'll have to maybe I'll have to, what's the word? Download it and then resend it again, maybe, if you don't see it. Because the email has a little,
Email has a strange logo.
Yeah, it has a little paper clip, but I don't see the attachment.
The only attachment is something that is not relevant. It's like somebody else's.
Okay,
Yeah.
so in that case, then what I'll do is I will re-forward it all. I just stripped it off of that email and I'll re-forward it just as a singular document.
While we're waiting for that, let me just show you the picture I took today. So it was right. It was hard to take the picture because I was driving. It's not a road you can really stop on. Over, you can see to the left, there's all kinds of scraggly junk trees on this road. So it's not like making it look pristine is really gonna, it would sort of be out of place with the rest of the road. But you can see the big hole between some of the trees. I mean, there are a lot more trees. This was the one spot where I really saw a hole where you can kind of see up into the solar field. So I don't think it's inappropriate to ask them to replant a tree there.
So what I just forwarded you was the document that he had prepared, just as an example. Which that almost sounds like he's asking you to an encroachment permit performance bond. Because originally though, he had forwarded, and I know I forwarded it last meeting. What I'm showing here was that there was, I downloaded that. So back on, well, there was, I don't know if you want me, there was the encroachment permit. There was the $15,000 encroachment permit performance bond. Then there was a right-of-way performance and completion bond. And that was another 15, and it doesn't really go into the details other than just saying Holyoke One LLC as principal, Arch Insurance Company for 15,000, Holyoke Stormwater Authority. So that was that was under the right-of-way performance completion bond. Then there was the tree installation, right-of-way completion single job, tree installation bond. Then there was the license and permit bond for tree installation. Then there was the document that I just forwarded to you all. So it appears that out of those documents, one was the replacement letter. 2 were considered to be executed. 1 was stormwater, 1 was tree installation. And so I'm assuming that tree installation, the second tree installation was, I don't know if it says 1 was executed and 1 was, maybe it was a copy of the bond. I mean, I can forward these to you all again. I think I already have, but I don't want to clutter your boxes if you don't want it, but I can certainly forward all 5 of these documents once again. And then I said the last one was a stormwater authority.
Yeah, which presumably that's done and we don't need them to re-up.
Right.
So, that one, it's the Stormwater Authority, it's taken care of, we don't need to see that again. And, nobody is going to agree to discharge them from the completion, the decommissioning bond.
Right.
So, we're going to accept the replacement from their new bonding company.
Yeah.
And then the only question remaining, I think, is whether we're going to release the tree bond and with or without asking them to plant a tree. And if we want to ask them to plant a tree and otherwise tell them they can discharge the bond or not renew it, how we go about doing this.
Right. I mean, sometimes trees fail, but that's part of the reason why you have a bond is to make sure they keep going until they have trees.
Yeah. Yeah, I suppose we could also say plant one. When it grows, then we'll discharge the pre-planting bond.
Do we have any record of what they originally proposed to put in?
Yes. Let me.
Because it is honestly possible that they put in everything they said they would and we just hadn't asked for enough rather than that something died.
Let's see. Give me 1 second. So let me give me 1 second and I will. Give me 1 second because I'm gonna zoom in. I'm gonna share my screen again. So in a second, if someone can let me in and give me co-host on that. Thank you. And then we'll do this. Share. Okay, so everything you see, I mean, this is the best I can provide to you because this is what was approved. So, you know, I guess outside of now going out there and counting whether or not there are 48 eastern red cedars, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't.
Oops.
I mean, what might there? It's certainly clear to me that it's missing at least one on the left-hand side. Because I think when I look at the pictures I took, I see 5 to the left of or to the north of that driveway,
Sure.
right? Um, and I don't remember below. Um, I think it would be fair to ask them to replace any, any designated trees that have died, and, we could walk the site with them to determine which ones need to be replaced, but there's at least one that needs to be replaced.
Let me just do this real quick now. I mean, this is only as good as this image was, or when it was last driven by and taken. Obviously, the trees have gotten a little bit larger. Um, so I don't know if these, I mean, these don't even look like, this looks like a blue spruce, while this looks like a
It's
cedar
not
here.
showing up for us if you're trying to show us a picture.
Oh,
No, I'm seeing it.
Oh, really? I'm
Yeah.
not.
so
I
there
just see it.
appears to be, I mean, they're certainly not, I mean, these are spruces, this is a cedar. This almost looks like a pine. So I don't know if what the intent was here, but this was it whenever this it says here the image date was from October of 2019. And then just, driving down this way towards the south, there appears to be some dead things here and obviously some sumac growing in between. I can't count whether or not the remaining, 43 or so shrubs or trees are here, based on this image. I can certainly call Peter and ask him if he can prove that the plan as approved actually made it to the ground or is currently alive. And if not, to boost up no, to make it so that it, before the bond is released, that it actually complies with what was approved. I can try that.
Yeah. I mean, I'm fine with releasing the other non-removal bonds.
With stormwater.
Wait,
With-
did,
There was a stormwater, there was a tree removal. And then, I mean, I mean, in that last group that he had sent, it wasn't even the decommissioning, so I'm assuming, but I can also question him on that and say, just so, obviously, we're not getting rid of a decommissioning bond. The board would say that that they would release the stormwater, but they're kind of concerned about the trees because the fact that it doesn't appear that the tree plan as approved is what's actually there currently.
Yeah.
Or something to that effect.
Yep.
And then, by looking at this, whether, I don't know what the heck, if this was part of their plan or if this was something that just happened to grow on its own. But based on this, there appear to be 5, these are blue spruces. That's not a blue spruce, but has well,
That
no,
looks nothing like what Kate showed us.
yeah.
it's so funny. I can't see what Jeff is showing. Oh, wait, now I can switch it. All right, somehow I was able to switch view. Oh, yeah, no, this is a long time ago.
Yeah. Like I said, it shows here as 2019, so if that's actually true, then you're looking, obviously you're looking at,
Well, honestly, it almost looks like the space there was already a space, like they already didn't put something in there.
Yeah.
Maybe they did plant the actual number, but it's just planted weirdly.
But having seen that and then going back to this. you know, according to this, there were supposed to be 48 red cedars, eastern red cedars. So, 2, 4, I mean, so there are six somethings there. There look to be some blue spruces, there look to appear to be some cedars, and some other pines there.
But when I look at the picture of now, I'm not sure there are 6 things there now.
Okay.
There might be. It might just be worth, I don't know, do you have time to go out and count them?
I certainly could, yeah, sure. I mean, it might be kind of, well, seasonally speaking, well, I mean, nothing here is gonna lose its leaves, obviously, in the winter. Yeah, I mean, I just, maybe if they're not caught up in the underbrush, of course, there's no leaves on the sumac now, presumably. So,
Right, yeah, because honestly, if there are 48 evergreens there, then maybe I should just stand down about the fact that there's a gap and not worry about it. Like if they actually planted the number they said they would plant, then
right.
we gotta let them go.
Like I said, I could also put it back to Peter to say, can you prove to me that what was approved actually is on the ground?
Yeah.
So I'll reach out to Peter and I'll ask him about, or, you know, I mean, I don't know if there needs to be a formal vote here or how we're gonna manage this. But I mean, the stormwater bond could be let go. The decommissioning bond, which doesn't appear to be in the group that he sent us, obviously is a no. The tree installation is pending that they can prove or that we can prove that it's either meets the plan or doesn't. And then have them accommodate before they release it. Which at this point may not be what was, it may not be what was approved, but because again, this is showing as 48 of one species, but when you look at the street view, there was clearly a mix of coniferous plants there.
If there are 48 coniferous plants there, then I'd let them go.
Okay.
If they planted 48 conifers and they all lived, they're doing really well.
Right. Okay,
Okay,
Do we need a vote?
sure.
okay. I move we approve what Kate and Jeff just worked out.
Good with that. Is there a second?
Second.
Roll call vote for Mimi,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
and Lauren.
Yep.
All right. Meeting schedule.
So before we do that, while we still have Jane, can we just briefly do the comp plan thing? Which is buried beneath it.
Sure.
And at this point, I don't even remember what it was I wanted to talk about with respect to the comp plan, besides the fact that we are moving into the heavy duty, we're deciding what to recommend by way of zoning change as part of the plan. I think that it might be helpful if we could schedule getting our consultant in to speak directly to the planning board rather than this game of telephone where I've been in a meeting or Kate's been in a meeting or we've both been in a meeting and we try to report back. But I mean, and if that's a good thing, we can talk about when that would be good to ask him in for. But the other big thing, which is why I just referenced Jane, is that the time is coming where we're going to have to know how we formally adopt the final plan. It's a planning board run project by state law, but I have just never looked into whether when there's a complete plan, we need to vote to approve or accept it. The city council needs to take that vote. The mayor needs to approve it. We all do. I just don't know, but I think it would be good for us to be prepared for whatever it is, so we should find out.
Yeah, it's just the planning board.
Just the planning board, it is completely our authority?
That is correct, under statute.
Well, that makes it simple.
Makes it easier.
Yeah. But it does emphasize that at some point soon, if the board is agreeable, we ought to ask Alan and anybody he thinks is appropriate from his team to come and talk about what they might need from the full board in a public meeting, so we don't have to worry about not having three of us there and attempting to relay the information accurately to the full board.
Yeah, and if I'm remembering correctly, well, we're meeting to talk in much more depth with them about zoning at the end of this month, but it would really be great to get the input of all of the planning board members. We just can't all be at the meeting, or else it becomes a quorum and we have an issue.
So it has to be a public meeting.
So I think it would be good to get Alan to come in to one of our February meetings, ideally. Isn't that what I believe that's what we talked about with him?
Yeah,
Let me look.
and this is why I wanted to hit it before we hit the meeting schedule.
Yeah. So the 11th seems super packed.
Yeah.
Yes. So far, there's only 2 items on the 25th.
So it seems like asking him to come that day is a lot better than the 11th.
Yeah, we can't add anything else to the 11th.
We'll have to start guarding the time on the 25th.
Yeah. He was going to, I think the schedule is that they would hope to have a report essentially about what they're suggesting we do about zoning in April. So I think if we get him in to us at the end of February, it's not too late. But meanwhile, if people have things on their mind that really need to get addressed through zoning, we obviously have a lot of stuff already on that agenda, and we could send out the list of topics to the group, but just not, can't have any conversation about it.
Yeah.
And that way people could respond with any items they think we're missing in the important conversation. So maybe, can you reach back out to Alan and make sure that date works?
Yeah, yeah, February 25th, yes.
Yeah. I know we talked about it, but I just want to make sure we got it solidified.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm looking for something to write this down on, or I will zone out.
Want me to email you a note?
Sure.
All right. Otherwise, meeting schedule. Jeff, do you want to
Yep.
Do you want to outline it or should I?
I'll go through it. Yep, thank you.
Okay.
So there's no meeting January 28th due to a local election. February 11th, we have short-term rentals, continued from 12/10. We've got site plan review modification. So what this is the previously approved Holyoke Landing is dividing their future rear building in half. And instead of filing it as a new plan, they're modifying the old plan, which I know seems like semantics, but believe me, it's much harder to try to work into an agenda and also get the applicant to actually follow the regulations because they think they're following it as a modification or an amendment versus an actual 10A site plan review. So that aside, we've got a new BES coming for February 11th to the rear of where the Starbucks is. We also have a site plan review.
Jeff, can I ask a question?
Yes.
The site plan review for Tesla, that's at Holyoke Landing and there's a BES? Wait,
Yeah.
okay.
So under the next item, site plan review amendment. So they're gonna come in and they're reopening the hearing because they're adding essentially a new use to the plan. So they're not only reopening that site plan, but they're also then coming in and amending the special permit for parking reduction. Because Tesla is gonna be building out 12 units or 10 stations of EV charging there. So that's that. We've also got 2 zone changes for Tiago Martins, who's zone changing 2 properties by the post office, but one on each side of the street from BL to DR, which I believe several months ago we may have talked about in hopefully
Yeah.
through the comp plan, zone changing in that whole area to DR, but he wanted to get it in the queue because he wasn't sure where his project would align with the comp plan. So he's advancing that on his own. We've also got the continuation earlier for 37 Appleton Street for both the site, or not rather both, for the site plan, the fence, as well as parking reduction. We've also got the signs for Whiting Farms Laundromat. But we've also, oh no, the signs will continue. Okay, yeah, signs for Whiting Farms Laundromat, which is a new sign special permit. We also have a request of Levesque for a fence height on High Street on a corner to go up to 6 feet, which is another thing that we've got to determine because the definition of the site triangle is kind of tricky. So we have to kind of look at more in depth than that prior to that meeting. So I'll forward that to you all just as an FYI. So that's up. We also are, at the request of the law department, we are also adding as a meeting topic, the ESG subdivision. Because I guess they're gearing up for, well, trying to get a building permit to continue what they had already approved now some year ago. But one of the conditions was they had to provide a subdivision plan. So it'll be talking about what the next steps are for that. So that would be on the 11th. Now on the 25th, we've got tiny homes continued. We've got the super fresh sign number 2 special permit, and we've got the comprehensive plan discussion with Alan. And that brings us up, because currently we have nothing scheduled yet in March.
Yeah, we'll see how long that lasts.
Right, exactly. So, that's all I've got on that.
Mhm.
And the
Do we
only
have-
other project updates I'll just offer briefly is, for what it's worth, I had a call today with an attorney. Ned Borowski, who owns the former Pier 1 building, now Venture X building, is looking to have a company build a cell tower on his site. So myself and the attorney were going back and forth on where we felt it could go, because the under section 7(8), it says that the tower fall zone has to be the height of the tower plus 25 feet. And the way that Mr. Borowski A&R'd his lot when he went to sell the remaining lot to the Holyoke Landing project, he only gave himself 72 feet in width back there. So today's topic was how can I build a cell tower back there when my tower is gonna be over 130 feet tall, but yet I've only got 76 feet of width? So there is something that they're planning on submitting at the end of February, but we still have to have another communication because I don't know if they're gonna try to seek a variance or what they're gonna do, but arguably the variance wouldn't float either because there's no issue of the soil shape or topography that would, that would cause, the shape is because they caused that shape. The shape isn't because of a natural element like ledge, wetland, river, or other. So I'm not quite sure how that's gonna float, but there will be a cell tower potentially coming. That is a city council special permit, but it is, the planning board in the past for other cell towers has reviewed comments and then forwarded it under their signature to, in this case, will be DGR committee. So there is another, I'm just surprised. It's just funny to hear of a cell tower. From what I understand too, it's an AT&T tower. So I guess there must be a gap in service, or they have to prove a gap in service to even go there, but there is another project in that area, as I just noted. So that's the only thing I've really got that's new other than anything else. If there's anything else the board wishes to inquire about, feel free to ask.
Not at the moment.
Okay.
Well, is it time for a motion to adjourn?
I think it might be.
Okay, well, I will make that motion, but first I will say thank you for rescuing me. It was really needed.
Well, glad that you seem to be feeling better, so.
Yeah,
Okay.
no, it's certainly has been getting better for the last half hour or so, but beginning of this, I could not have made it through that first 2 hours, so thank you.
Happy
And
to
with
do it
that-
when needed.
I move we adjourn.
Thank you. Second?
Second, third.
Roll call vote for Mimi,
Yes.
Kate,
Yes.
Rosanna,
Yes, ma'am.
and Lauren.
This is great. I looked at this agenda and I thought like, this is 11 o'clock for sure, so. Being done before 10 makes me very happy. All right.
Thank
See
you.
you.